Vision and Mission Treasurer, Mr. Ronald Ford, the President of Vision and Mission, and Executive President Wayne Chance, the representative of the Agricultural Society, Mr. Karim, and in our audience we also have the Assistant Commissioner of Prisons, Mr. Sinclair, and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Food Production, Ms. Mona Thompson, other members of the staff present, and Ms. Grace Talma, who I met many, many years ago when she was providing training for national lotteries, I don't know if you remember that. When Vision and Mission approached me to have the Ministry of Food Production partner with them to strengthen their agricultural program, I did not hesitate. This discussion, this conversation, Wayne and I had about a week ago, and we are here. The Ministry of Food Production launched last week, Wednesday, our outreach program, whereby the ministry will be going out to different communities, share with those farming communities the services and facilities available not only by the Ministry of Food Production, but by the various state agencies that fall under its remit, which include the ADB, NAMDEVCO, and other state agencies, and other divisions within the ministry, which include the Land Management Division, the Engineering Division, and so on. And Wayne was at that function at the Solomon Temple in Wallerfield. And following that outreach program, we visited this site, and I saw for Vision and Mission to partner with the Ministry of Food Production to make a substantial and significant change in what they are doing and making the Ministry of Food Production a partner in a real sense with what they are doing. Vision and Mission has stood as a vanguard for many years in service to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago with respect to restorative justice. So much so that the government of Trinidad and Tobago last year recognized that contribution by bestowing a national award on its founding president, Mr. Wayne Chance. The Turning of Hearts and Soil project creates a synergy between Vision and Mission, restorative justice, and the Ministry of Food Production. One of the categories of persons that this project will cater for is deportees. There are different categories of deportees who have returned with varying levels of vulnerabilities, needs, and problems. Many expertise have in serious criminal activity, and many are young males. This is the group that poses a most serious threat, where likelihood of engaging in crime is highest, especially since they would have been socialized in a different country and may have difficulty in reintegrating in Trinidad and Tobago. Increasing number of deportees is a group that is extremely vulnerable in a society. Many have no stable family or support, or no one at all to turn to in Trinidad and Tobago. This group have challenges accessing accommodation, housing, healthcare, social services, and national identification. This has created a cycle of helplessness and kept deportees unable to become self-reliant. To resolve this challenge, the government of Trinidad and Tobago has developed the National Policy and Action Plan to address the negative socio-economic impact of deported persons to Trinidad and Tobago. The overarching goal of this policy is to successfully reintegrate deportees into society to prevent social displacement, crime, and recidivism among such persons. One of the objectives of this policy is to facilitate rehabilitative and counseling support skills and assistance in securing employment. The Ministry of Food Production therefore sees this as an opportunity to strategically position agriculture and food production as a productive socio-economic solution in the government's arsenal of solution in this issue. The Ministry of Food Production is now very advanced in rolling out an agenda in turning around the food production sector. We have been partnering with farmers and farmers group to facilitate the doubling of crop harvest in strategic commodity sectors. Mr. Karim alluded that we are now in the process of giving out the lands in the much contested, controversial Orange Grove area. We have been working with the small ruminant sector to strengthen the genetic pool, while at the same time partnering with stakeholders to double milk production and meat production by 2015. In the poultry sector, we are working with the nation poultry producers to facilitate greater local content in our institutional markets, such as school feeding. The poultry sector stands out as a leader in food production in Trinidad and Tobago. However, its success left a significant environment footprint in its wake. The Ministry of Food Production, in collaboration with the Livestock Board, ADB, and the Center for Food and Nutrition, will be approaching the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources to seek funding through the Green Fund for an initiative called the greening of the poultry sector. I hope also to pursue the greening of the pork sector, which has a similar problem. The Ministry of Food Production will be bringing to Parliament very soon legislation to strengthen the fisheries sector, thus ensuring our local fisherfolk benefit from fish resources in our water. We're in the process, as Mr. Ford said, of building packing houses in a very modern state-of-the-art multi-purpose processing facilities to farmers to add value to what they produce. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just a list of some of the activities, but the list continues as the Ministry of Food Production is on the move. As I said in my maiden contribution in the Parliament, we're bringing sexy back to the ministry. The Ministry of Food Production is committed to ensuring Trinidad and Tobago is firmly set in a positive trajectory that will take us to being a food secure nation. It is within this context that I, as Minister of Food Production, endorse the Vision and Mission project, Turning the Hearts and Soil project. Not only does this initiative support the overall objectives of my ministry with respect to food security, but it facilitates the strengthening of our nation's justice system. This project will now provide Vision and Mission with the tools through farming to facilitate the regeneration of our deported citizens and those recently released from prison back into the productive element of our society. The Ministry of Food Production, through its technical support staff, will be lending that support to the Vision and Mission as they develop various sectors. As you know, cardio also falls under the ministry. Will be providing that additional technical support. We have partnered with international partners such as the FAO and ICA, who also will be lending support to this project. NAMDEFCO, through Mr. Ford, who has dual loyalties here, will be ensuring that whatever is raised here will be marketed, bringing in returns of revenues to you all, so you hopefully will be on the road to being self-sustainable. On the initial tour of this facility, I saw 6 massive ponds in the back. They're already dug and cast and plastered and so on. It's ready and waiting for tilapia farming. So we have a representative from the SIDC here, and I've spoken already with the chairman of the SIDC and Vision and Mission. So, and I commented to Wayne before this program started that if that was up and running 6 months ago for Lent, Vision and Mission would be making a lot of cash at this point in time. But everything comes in its time, and next year, this time, I'm sure you'll be earning some serious revenues with that. ADB is another avenue which we will discuss further, how ADB could finance some of the activities here. But the ministry stands and is standing with Vision and Mission to see this project grow from 12 acres to the rest of the 52 acres, because we see Vision and Mission as being a partner in our overall plan to have Trinidad and Tobago to be a food secure nation. The large farm project, which was launched some time ago, each large farm on average is about 100 acres. Vision and Mission is halfway there with 52 acres. So Vision and Mission is clearly part of the solution and not part of the problem. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Good morning, Honorable Minister of Food Production, PS in the Ministry, all other protocols observed. I am so grateful to have been invited to this ceremony this morning. I was reminding Mr. Chance that we have in fact met before. He hadn't remembered, but we met in 2000, and I have quietly followed his progress and the progress of Vision and Mission all these years, and it gives me a great sense of joy and pride to be a part of this endeavor this morning. As Minister of Justice, we see in our ministry the inmates of all the correctional institutions. They are in fact our largest client base. It is sometimes not quite recognized that inmates are clients. They're clients of the ministry, they're clients of the prison system, and as such we must start viewing them as clients, viewing them as persons who have come to us for a service that we now need to design to repurpose, to allow them to repurpose their lives. In this regard, it is really a great opportunity that Wayne and Vision on Mission have presented, which accords directly with the vision of the Ministry of Justice in repurposing lives. Quite apart from the old system that we're used to of warehousing prisoners and releasing them back into the society with no hope and no plan, the Ministry of Justice is of course committed to reducing the recidivism rate, committed to restoring the dignity of prisoners, and committed to recognizing their intrinsic human rights. To this end, Wayne, and to the Board of Vision and Mission, to ex-inmates here present, and other stakeholders in the justice process, I trust that we will continue to work towards the same vision, which is ultimately making Trinidad and Tobago a safer place. All the best in this endeavor and in your future endeavors to come.
The Honorable Devan Maraj, Senator the Honorable Christine Moore, President of the Agricultural Society of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Suku, Chairman of National Marketing and Development Company, Mr. Ronald Ford, Mr. St. Clair, Assistant Commissioner of Prison, representing the Commissioner of Prison, Mr. Martin Martinez, Permanent Secretary. For those of you who may not be aware of the goals and objectives of this organization and its genesis, Vision and Mission would have had its start in 1993. I was an inmate in the prison system at a tender age of 19. And while incarcerated, I was able to look back at my behavior, so to speak, and decide to turn a page in my life. Being a young man in the prison system, I saw a lot of other faces like mine that were in the prison system. And I felt that I could have made a difference in the life of these other young men. It was very frightening for me because in those years, the recidivism rate was really high, because the whole idea and the acceptance of inmates in the wider society was one not too welcoming. So a lot of the inmates, upon their release, was just recidivizing in and out. The prison was a revolving door. Great challenge for prison officers. And I was very frightened because I wanted to go out of prison and never come back. Not only for me, but I had made friends and I have heard testimonies of other inmates, and they also had the same expression. They wanted to go and never come back and live a productive life. But the greatest fear, even today in the prison system, for many inmates, is when they are released, what sort of welcomeness, how they would be treated as it relates to their past. And you know, professionally speaking, there are ex-prisoners, ex-commissioner, ex-judges. But I have looked through the whole Oxford Dictionary and do a number of research, and I've never found in the context, because ex relate to a professional profession. And being a prisoner is not a professional profession. So there is really not anything such as an ex-prisoner. So I say that to say that we are persons who would have committed an offense and have paid our dues and are returned citizens to the community of Trinidad and Tobago. And that's the whole idea. We need to re-label, or not re-label, but we need to re-look at how we label people and situation in order to lift the standard in Trinidad and Tobago. I am much pleased today and excited with great joy, because upon my release from prison in 2000, I went back to the prison. I would meet with inmates because in the prison I had spent time sharing my life and testimonies, and a number of men, through the assistance of great officers like Mr. Gordon Husband, Mr. Pantin, Mr. Tilok Singh, Mr. Filton Ragu, and a number of other officers that I may not be able to call by name, that have really worked with me and other inmates to make the change. And upon my release, I would go and meet them, but we had not a place to put a number of them who had a place to stay. And I would take them to my mother's home, and after a while we develop an in-transit center. But the crowd keep coming, and eventually we establish assistance for accommodating persons upon their released. In 2008, coming to the heart of why we are here, we discovered this property through a former director, Mr. George Hislop, and his colleague, Mr. Desmond Allam, who were the original owners of this property. And Mr. Hislop, being on the board of Vision and Mission, proposed Vision and Mission to use this property to further its dream, to assist in the reduction of crime, etc. And in 2008, we had it evaluated, and it is 52 acres. And it is divided into two portions. The first is 12 acres, which Vision and Mission, through the kind support of well-wishers, we went on a campaign, and well-wishers, pensioners, good citizens donated to our account, and we were able to raise 600,000, and we purchased the first 12 acres of this land, which started at the top of Peaks Building to the end of the road, to right back, which you would see. The other 32 acres is beyond the trees, which we have not touched. And we were able to also get the assistance of the Ministry of the United Nations, and the representative is here, and I want to acknowledge her especially because you would have realized I had not called her in the first slate of names I had called, but I want to pay special tribute to her because they had believed in the vision of Mission and the agricultural project firsthand. Before a tree was removed, before it looked like this, they came up here when here was a forest and said, we with baigan, we see Trinidad and Tobago as a society that need help, and agriculture is a good means. And we have Miss Grace Selman, Kalmas, thank you for the correction, Kalma, who is here today in person, who took the proposal to her other directors and immediately within a month made available 300,000, and that was used in the first phase of the development, and they are continuously partnering, and up to this week here we are recipient of the last 100,000 that will be used in collaboration with our new partners and friends, the Ministry of Food and Production. And let's give the Ministry of Food and Production, Devon Marge, a round of applause. And today we are here to turn the soil, and Mr. Devon Maharaja will leave the honor for him to describe the kind of production and development that will be taking place here shortly to make here a model farm. Hundreds of youths wake up in the morning and don't know where to go. We call them unattached youths, who would meet me and say, Chance, give me something about anything. And my heart, cry out for them. And I'm so excited because I could now say, enough 6 months from now, let's go to the fish farm. Let's go to the agricultural site, because it will become a self-sustainable program, providing employment, contributing to the national food basket, and at the same time rehabilitating and transforming life, reducing crime, and improving public safety. Time is against me because the both senators would have to go to cabinet to make probably some decision for here. So I would not prolong too long. But I want to thank Ms. Christine Moore, the Minister of Justice, for being present on short notice. Our heart is in the right direction, and I look forward for a very good collaborative relationship. With that, I just would like to ask the inmates that came out of the prison to stand. The inmates. Well put away. That's the kind of work being done in the prison. We have the men who work on the farm here, ladies and gentlemen, who have been a part of the training and development through the program in the prison and are out here, free men that are working and looking forward for greater work. I would ask them to stand.
All protocol observed. A blessed good morning. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here to share. I pray to God that the poem that I'm about to say, at least it touched the lives of young men who will be contributing to this, settings here in the future. This poem is based on my lifestyle, my past, my present, and my future. I should say that I'm an inmate at the maximum security prison, serving a sentence of 75 years. I thank God that I don't like prison, but I thank Him for my imprisonment, because I would not have been who I am right now. So without any further ado, I would just like to recite this poem. This poem is called Transformation. Once living a life of crime and fame, living a life of sorrow and pain, not knowing who I really was, I hungered and thirsted for a worthy cause. Took to the streets to find the answer, only to end up being a gangster. Having the influence of many, they'll do anything for money. Crime, drugs, and all its ills. I said to myself, this can't be God's will. Friends I thought to me were there. Little did I know, they didn't care. Betrayal, envy, disrespect, and deceit. These are the characters out on the street. It wasn't long before I'd known my fate. I allowed the enemy to use me as bait. Now charged with a crime I did commit, I'm not angry that society calls me a misfit. Realizing the harm and hurt that I have done, I'm seeking to right all that I did wrong. Finding my identity, that's what I did. Understanding God's purpose and His goodwill. Growing stronger and wiser each and every day. Making use of every program that comes my way. To rebuild and reshape my life, I must, in order to fulfill my life's purpose. I must rebuild what I have broken down. I must restore through restitution. Responsibility, accountability, given the opportunity, is what my heart desires to give back to my community. But before I do this, I must say sorry for my irresponsibility. Now, given the opportunity, I have started giving back to society. To restore is to give back, replace, and reconstruct. This is what I have vowed to develop. Seeking ways and means to build positively, mentally, educationally, and most of all, spiritually. Now that I'm going through my transformation, repaying the harm done is my sole solution. I must take responsibility for my action and balance the scale of justice through restoration. Thank you. Before I leave, I just want to say, guys, we all had made mistakes. After one time is the next time, according to Brother Chance. And there are two things that I, on a day-to-day basis, I try to live by, and that is choice and responsibility. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent indeed. I was very moved by that, and thank you very much. Our next speaker, unfortunately, could not attend today, but we do have from the Agricultural Society of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Niwaz Karim.
Some of the the move the ministry and the government needs to continue for a better Trinidad and Tobago. There are some concerns in Trinidad. Economic growth is one, food security, and crime. And being a farmer of Trinidad and Tobago, I can tell you all this. Agriculture could solve the three of them. Definitely. I'm not much of a speaker, but when I speak from my heart. So Mr. Devan again, Mr. Devan, our Honorable Minister, the Permanent Secretary, I want to thank you all, Mr. Chance also, for this venture. I want to be honest, agriculture is not a bed of roses. It's definitely not a bed of roses, but you have to keep trying, and eventually, you're definitely going to succeed. So this is my little humble contribution this morning. And on our next matter, I want to commend the Minister and the staff of the Ministry of Food Production concerning a little issue in the Orange Grove area. The farmers have been removed from that area for quite a period of time. And you know, we were protesting all on the streets of, you know, Port of Spain and Orange Grove. But I want to say, from yesterday to today, the ministry have been calling those farmers, those food producers of Trinidad and Tobago, they have been calling them under the guidance of the minister and his staff to come, basically in layman's term, come and collect your documents for your land. So definitely, Mr. Minister, that was a step in the right direction. Thank you.
From Namdipco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And what the chairman did fail to inform the audience that I'm a member of the board of Vision and Mission first, before I even, and I'm the treasurer of Vision and Mission, and I've been a member for a number of years before I had any other portfolio. Honorable Minister of Food Production, Senator Devan Maraj, Honorable Minister of Justice, Ms. Christine Moore, all other protocols observed. Today heralds an extremely important milestone for Vision and Mission, and by extension, the national community, in our collective effort to diminish the attraction to crime as an option and embellish the concepts of reintegration and rehabilitation for repeat offenders. It is emphatically clear that if this country is to rid itself of the scourge of crime, we have to develop strategies and programs to drastically reduce the high percentage of repeat offenders and redirect that percentage of the country's human capital to meaningful and value-added endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, this Vision and Mission project presents Trinidad and Tobago with a win-win situation to foster the development of a safer national environment devoid of crime. It also presents an opportunity for the participants of Vision and Mission program to play a noble role in cultivating food to assist in the reduction of our dependency on imported food. The facility includes a reintegration center to house ex-prisoners who are released from prison and have no access to housing to restart and rebuild their lives. The facility is situated on approximately 12 acres of land that is already being utilized for agriculture, and plans are in train to commence an aquaculture project in our 6 large ponds. And I said our because I'm a board member of Vision and Mission. The site is ideally located for a project of this nature, and we envisage that it will become a model that will be replicated as demand necessitates. And we don't wish for that. Vision and Mission was established by the indomitable Mr. Wayne Chance behind the walls of the prison. Mr. Chance and his colleagues gained the confidence of a team of dedicated, patriotic citizens who believed in his vision. We, the members of the Board of Directors of Vision and Mission, stand resolute and committed to the ideals of rehabilitation and reintegration. We remain dedicated to bridging the gap between the punishment and release through rehabilitation, so prisoners break the cycle of incarceration, stay out of prison, and become productive community members. Instead of warehousing large numbers of people in the nation's prisons, we are committed to utilizing the tools of restorative justice to address problems that our clients face on a daily basis and lead them to pursue a life free of crime and violence. Ladies and gentlemen, we are committed to stopping the prison revolving doors. Vision and Mission continues to realize tremendous success with its pre-release, rehabilitation, and reintegration programs over the years. Our strategy is to develop new and innovative initiatives to assist young people and present them with alternatives to lead better lives. The support Vision and Mission has received from the government for our initiatives are tremendous. The Ministry of the People and Social Development has ensured that our organization is provided with an annual subvention to service our recurrent overheads. We also continue to receive the ministry's support for our developmental projects. We remain grateful and thankful for the support of the Ministry of the People and Social Development. Today, we are collaborating with the Ministry of Food Production to develop new synergies. The Minister of Food Production, Senator the Honorable David Maraj, has taken a very keen interest in our agricultural program and has provided access to equipment and other services to accelerate the participation of expanded acreage of land to increase our agricultural production. I take this opportunity to offer our collaborative possibilities with NAMDEFCO, and there's where I change hats, in my capacity of chairman of the board of that organization. We are currently in the process of resuscitating the export of fruits and vegetables to our Caribbean neighbors. We commenced that initiative with Barbados recently, and discussions are ongoing with St. Lucia and other islands in pursuit of our finding new markets for our produce. Plans are also on the drawing board to re-enter the North American and European market. NAMDEFCO is also in the process of developing 5 new packing houses with agri-processing facilities to facilitate cleaning, sorting, and packaging of farmers' produce for export and local distribution. It is proposed that one of these facilities will be located right here in the Wallerfield area, close proximity to this acreage. We are developing the infrastructure to implement a national commodity stabilization fund that is intended to assure guaranteed prices to farmers for agricultural products in a predetermined arrangement with NAMDEFCO that establishes volumes and types of crops. The satisfaction you can get from seeing that you have changed a person's life, brought them hope and happiness, a reason to make their life meaningful again, that satisfaction is priceless. If people get sick, we take them to the hospital and give them the right medication to get better. If people's behavior is sick, we bring them to the prison, but we forget the medicines. Words of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. The basis premises of the program is that no individual is really bad, but takes to crime due to external stressors which they are unable to deal with effectively. Change is possible for everyone. Every person in prison can change for the better and become a good, productive citizen. However, doing so requires a lot of sacrifice and help from the concerned agencies. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ron. Ron, in fact, is the treasurer of Vision.
Observe. And it's Deal St. Louis. Correct? That's correct in that. It's a pleasure being here today. And I thank God that He has afforded me the opportunity to speak today as a former inmate of not just Golden Grove Prison, not just Port of Spain Prison, not just Carrera Prison, but throughout the prisons that I've been through, every prison. In Tobago also, that I made prison. You may laugh, but I will tell you something about that just now. And after having 15 convictions and 15 times being locked up and 9 convictions, couldn't spend 2 months out of jail, 3 months out of jail. Every time I come out, I get locked up again because I didn't have a compass for my life. But I thank God today that through the help of Him first and the organization of Vision and a Mission, today I am out of prison 6 years now. And for your information, my brothers and sisters, it is evident that this organization that they call Vision and a Mission, that was founded in the prisons some years gone by, has been truly an umbrella of hope to ex-inmates that come out of prison. I am living proof today that this organization, and nobody didn't tell me to come and say this, but out of my spirit, out of my heart, I know in Manoa that this organization is important. And my brothers and sisters, again, what I want to say again today is that what you see in there, that I believe with my heart, and I'm convinced and convicted that what you see in there, this area that you see in this parcel of land that you are seeing, the agriculture, I believe that that is an initiative towards to change crime. There are men that come into the agriculture program there. They don't know nothing about agriculture, but you are trained to do agriculture. Some of them don't like it, but when they understand that here what's going on, and I don't want to go back into jail, because one of the things I was saying the other day, I do insecurity. No. But what I'm saying, long time now, I am not going to stand up for 12 hours and my feet to work for $150 something. When I do the maths long time, when my mind was not transformed, when my mind was conformed to the world, to crime, you understand? When I do the maths, I would have seen, you understand, for 12 hours I standing up on a post to work for $150 something. It then adding up with me. And I would have gone do crime, go and do a robbery and get that, and get about $10,000, $5,000. But when I check it out, you understand, it doesn't make sense. Because when a man go in jail, when you're inside prison, when you're in prison and you stay in prison for 12 hours, all you get is your bread, your tea, your breakfast, and your dinner, and you don't have $150. So I thank God today that this organization is helping, and I believe that the government of Trinidad and Tobago, you understand, need to pour. If you want to see crime change, you know, if you want to see transformation take place, we have to begin, you understand, to give people a second opportunity. And I thank the ministers that are here today, you understand, for giving us inmates that opportunity again. And in closing here, I want people to know that these men that you see here, that you see here, is good men that made bad choices. And in life, one of the things I understand, that God takes you through a channel in life. It's not to bring out the worst in you, but in the end of it, it will bring out the best inside of you. The prodigal son, you understand? The prodigal son. And in closing here, what the prodigal son do? He went through certain things in this life. He went through, and the Bible says that when he came to himself, he went back home. And God sometimes allows us as inmates to go through prison and to face situations so that we will come to our senses and come back home. And I thank God today that these men that are standing up here has come back home. And in closing, I want to leave something with you now. I now say it there. Aim for the sky. Aim for the sky. And if you do not reach the sky, you will certainly fall among the stars. Thank you.